Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rain Boots. We're going to make a felted embroidery hoop today. You need felt, an embroidery hoop, and some kind of wool roving along with some felting needles. Now these you can come with a needle or with one of these holders. They just come in this pack. That's all I'm using, along with a felting pillow from Amazon. So I am going to be using basic white craft store felt for this first craft, and all you have to do is make sure that when you put it into the embroidery hoop frame that you do have a little bit left over. And I don't know why I showed you that cut on my finger, whatever. Anyway, you're going to want to pull the felt very tight and taut so that way it doesn't move when we're felting. See this? You just need a little bit of holdover, and you can cut it, or I'll show you another way to finish the back. Tie it and just make sure again that you're leaving a little bit of that felt if you want to do this close process. Makes it look just a little bit more finished. So once we have that, it's time to draw. So you are going to be channeling your inner elementary school self, and you're going to draw some hearts. So you will see I don't draw hearts very evenly. We're going to fix that. Don't worry about it, okay? And we're going to fix this one too. And by fixing it, I just mean I get to it and I'm like, ooh, that's really uneven. If you have never needle felted anything in your life, don't worry. It's ridiculously easy and highly cathartic. So what you're going to want to do is take a little bit of roving, and it like a little bit. So I'm going to be even splitting this in half. You always want to tuck over the first little bit on the bottom. So you're going to tuck over the ends, no matter what size you're working with, tuck over the ends and just poke it. It has to be, I get this question all the time. It has to be a needle felting needle. There are little barbs on this needle that allow the felt to catch the roving. So I'm going to show you the back here. I'm just stabbing it. See that? Right there, it's showing that you have felted roving on the other side, and that's all you need. Just stab it a whole bunch of times. Now listen, when you do this, it does not take a long time. This whole thing did not take a long time. So I want you to make sure that you're moving the roving to where you can cover this outline. If you don't get it on the first try, don't worry. Do not, under any circumstances, pull it all out. Just add another layer on top of it, do the edges, and you're fine. Now you can see, I can see the outline, so I'm just following it. And if I want to clean up an edge, I just kind of poke it from the side. You do want to, like this, see that? You're just poking up the side. So you're going to want to make sure that this little divot on the top is in, and the little divot, the little point at the bottom, and just poke it from the side to make sure that it is very delineated. That's it. And then you can always pull off roving, always hold your work. I'll show you an example of that in just a second. And this one, you can see it was highly inadequate with regard to the outline. So all I did was just add a little bit more roving in that area and poke it with a stick. Isn't that nice? Super easy and very cathartic. I love needle felting. In the winter, needle felting is really fun because it's a project you can pick up and put down without having any stitch markers or, needle minders or anything like that. So the next one here, I'm going to show you, excuse me, where we are going to be building out. It does not matter if you mess up, is my point. Needle felting traditionally is done in 3D form, right? You'll needle felt a heart that you can hold in your hand, or you'll needle felt a bird. I am not that good, okay? I can't needle felt a bird yet. But you know what I can do? I can stab a piece of felt pretty easily with a stencil drawn on top. So this is one of those wonderful winter crafts. And here's the thing, my 10-year-old and her little friends were doing this as well. So let's say you have all this wool roving left over. You can just hold your work with your thumb and then pull these pieces very gently. It'll pull out, but do not get rid of those. You can use those on other projects. And then I'm going to tuck over the ends just like we did when we started. And it's time to stab it again. Make sure you keep it on the pillow. Hey, look. Elementary school folded paper heart for the win, because I was so not even on that heart. And again, you can always fix it, but it's better to say, Sarah, look at your heart, and it's really bad. Anyway, we're going to do this last heart the exact same way. Now, because it is a little bigger, remember when I said you can use a single needle or a needle inside of a holder? You can also use a multi-needle holder. Mine all came in that single set. Okay, so it's not like I spent a lot of money. This is all the same set, by the way, I've been working with for like 4 years. So it is not something that takes a lot of money or a big expense. But you can see when you have just these little wispies left over, the multi-needle, you can put up to 8 in that thing. I'm just using 4. Makes quick work of it. Now, once you have it all done, I'm going to show you how to finish the back. You can always put a piece of felt over the back of that to make it look even prettier, but I'm going to use an embroidery thread. It's not divided. And then I'm going to use a needle. There's no knot on the end of it. I'm going to start on the outside of that little ruffly thing, and I'm going to go in and out, in and out, in and out, the whole way around. That's it. That's the whole stitch. I don't even think it's a stitch. Technically, it's called a running stitch. But the only thing important is that you start and you finish on the outside right next to each other. See that? That's where we started. Once you have that, you can remove your needle, and then you pull this tight gently. You can see how it's all coming together in a nice little gather. Yeah, every time I say the word gather, I think of either Thanksgiving or Little House on the Prairie. I don't know why. Anyway, I tied that off and added a beautiful chiffon, Sarah, chiffon ribbon, and this one is done. Isn't that fun? Isn't it pretty? It's so soft and natural. Look at her. Ooh, let me focus. There you go. Look at her. Okay, so now for my next craft. I'm going to tell you what not to do. We have some fabric, we have a foam cone and a Dollar Tree die, but you can use anything for the base. I also have these little cutouts and these little wooden sticks, which are technically, I think, either hors d'oeuvre or drink sticks. I have no idea. But this fabric I've had since my daughter was wee little, so a good 12 years or so. And I used to make those dress-up aprons. Love those. All right, so we're going to use a skewer, and we're going to cut the things into any fabric you want. I've done this with thick, heavy drop cloth, and I've done this with very thin sheer fabrics like this. You're just going to cut a square-ish shape and poke it into the foam. That's it. You can poke it a couple times. You can add hot glue, whatever makes your heart happy. Doesn't matter. This is literally the entire craft. Now, why I like this craft is because if you have an 1/8 of a yard of fabric or something and you really want to use it because it's a fun craft or it's holiday specific, make a rag tree or make a rag wreath. You can do the same. I did not have enough for a rag wreath. So once I got the entire part down, I want to tell you something about the top of this cone. Don't use this, but I'm going to show you why. I made one over Christmas like this, and it did the same thing. So I'm going to tell you, see right here, I have a little space open, right? Watch what happens. When you're covering it, it just broke right off. Okay, so the Dollar Tree cones are flat on top. Use those. Or just cut off the top 1/2 inch or so of your cone and build it out from there. It's super simple. The kids can do this as well. You can even use your rotary cutter and cut a whole bunch of fabric in advance if you're having a Valentine's Day party or a girls' crafting night. Look at all the care that I'm giving to cutting this fabric. It does not have to be exact. This is in no way, shape, or form difficult. We learned this in elementary school. Actually, I think we learned it in preschool. Anyway, once you have all of that, I have some openings of white for my little sticks, but you can cover it completely if you want, and you can trim it if you have the one little pieces like this sticking out, and then you have to clean that up though. It's the worst part of crafting. Okay, so anyway, on the bottom, I'm going to just do 1 row. And the reason is because that's all the fabric I have. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I just wanted to make sure that no one saw big white areas. It's literally it. And then I have to clean up again. And I'm going to use these Dollar Tree stir sticks or hors d'oeuvres sticks or whatever before I glue or before I put them in. I'm going to glue on the base so I know how it's going to sit. And then I did this craft back in December and I still don't know where that went. So then I'm just going to stick it in. I'm like, you can use whatever colors you want, but I like the gold. And my daughter ran off with this craft before I could even take video. So she's got it up in her room. But that is the entire final piece right here. It was quick, it was fun, and it used up a fun fabric. And I would love to hear from you. Which of these do you like more? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Please like the video and subscribe for more crafting fun.